You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. The Eckhardt-Gramatte, or E-Gre competition, has championed the performance of Canadian and contemporary music for over 4 decades. In March, it was announced that the 43rd year of the competition would be delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and now it's returned, and organizers have done something totally different. Rather than bringing the finalists to Brandon for a live performance, performers come to you online from across Canada and the UK. Winnipeg-based soprano Jayne Hammond and her collaborator Lisa Rumpel were selected for this final round of competition, and they've joined me remotely. Hello, both.
Hello, Simon.
Well, Jayne, Lisa, I want to begin by saying congrats. What an achievement, a national music competition finals. Jayne, how did you react when you got the news?
I was so excited, and I think the first thing that I did was text Lisa. Honestly, I've been interested in this competition since I was my undergrad, and we heard at Wilfrid Laurier University, Erica Isis, who won the competition. I'm going to date myself, I think like in 2008, maybe 2010, came to our university, and I remember seeing her recital, and it just blew my mind. And the competition has been in my radar ever since. So it was a huge dream come true to get that email, and to know that I was going to be able to finally participate in this competition that I'd been hearing about for so long. So I was over the moon.
No kidding. And then, not to go Debbie Downer, but everything then went on hold. This was pre-COVID, pre-physical distancing, pre-everyone making sourdough. It was an uncertain time for all of us, and in many respects still is. So what have the past few months been like? Have you been able to practice, to continue to work with Lisa? What's it been like for you?
Well, it was definitely challenging at first. I mean, the postponement of the competition didn't really come as a surprise. I mean, everything just got postponed and canceled. So we were disappointed, but it was to be expected with everything that was happening. At first, Lisa and I tried to rehearse in a physically distant way over Zoom, and we quickly discovered the limitations of that medium. So.
I think as lots of us did. It's no.
It's very useful for many things, but collaborating on music is probably not one of them. So we tried a few different things, and then it was really hard for us. I think we just realized that there was not a lot of, with the particular rep that we were working on, it was so challenging that unless we were going to be together in one space, there really wasn't that much reason to try and make it work distantly, because it's so collaborative. And the other limitation was that where Lisa and I performed in her home, or we rehearsed in her home, which was quite small, and we wanted to adhere to social distancing recommendations, and the space that we had been using didn't allow for that anymore. So, and then Lisa came along and saved the day when we knew we were going to be competing virtually, and found us a space that we could use.
So, Lisa, I want to bring you into the conversation here. You saved the day. Tell us about what it was like working with Jayne again after having to take a bit of a forced break.
Yeah, well, it was crazy not playing with anyone at all for like 4 months, because that's what I do all day, every day. So going from seeing like 100 people a week to one, my husband, was crazy. But yeah, so it was such a relief, honestly, to be back in a space where we could feel safe and do music together. I think we tried once in Jayne's backyard, and, we tried, but it's not the same as being with a grand piano and having that acoustic and stuff. So yeah, I would say it was a relief, and it was like, it just felt right.
Lisa, you talk about how you work with a lot of people and a lot of different musicians, and I'm curious, E-Gre is on a 3-year cycle, piano, voice, strings, alternate yearly. Have you participated in the competition before?
No, I haven't. I've always wanted to, because I actually went to Brandon for my undergrad, so I always heard about it, and yeah, but I never had the opportunity, or I never pursued it. And I know from talking to Sarah Jo, actually, how much prep it takes. And so Jayne and I got in pretty early to the preparation part of things. I mean, in a casual sense at first, but then it was nice to be with someone who like wanted to commit like for the full thing.
I mean, it takes a whole level of dedication. And again, just really good on you both for undertaking this. obviously, Lisa, it is the dedication and the talent of Jayne that made this work. But for you, Jayne, what is it about Lisa that made this really take off?
Man, I would not be anywhere in this competition without Lisa Rumpel, I can tell you that much. The fact that we really went through it together, like she held me accountable every step of the way. And we have been through a lot since deciding on the 4th rooftop, like 2 falls ago, to participate in this competition. So much has changed. I got pregnant and had a baby throughout the course of this entire process. And I can tell you that that takes a lot of time and energy in itself. And if I had not had a weekly rehearsal on my schedule with Lisa throughout my pregnancy and throughout like when I was raising my young daughter in the early months, there's no way that I would be here. Like the fact that I had her every step along the way, keeping me accountable and inspiring me to continue making music, even though I was sleep deprived, even though I didn't have time to practice that week, like there's just no way I would be here at all.
A total team effort. The E-Gré competition is named for Sophie Carmen Eckhardt-Gramatte, and it fulfills her dream of creating a means by which music of contemporary composers could make its presence felt upon young artists on the threshold of their careers. Jayne, can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with contemporary music? It's something that you've performed a lot of, right?
Yeah, it's always been something that I've been really passionate about. I've collaborated with composers ever since I was my undergrad and worked on premieres with them. My husband's also a composer, David Foley, so I've done a lot of work with him and sort of collaborating in the creation of works as well, like not that I'm a co-composer or anything, but sort of working with him to see what I like to sing and sort of seeing the composer's point of view as well as what they're trying to get across through the music that they're creating. And I've done some work with some composers out of the U of M as well, Kristen Wachniak and Harley Dick. And I'm really excited that the test piece for this composition is also a U of M composer. It's Gordon Fitzell, who's on faculty at the composition faculty there. So new music is something that I've always been passionate about. I think I love the standard repertoire so much and I really enjoy singing it, but I think it's really exciting to be on the cutting edge of the future of the art music and where it's going. And I think that there's always something really relevant that new music has to say, and I'm really excited to be able to be a part of that.
Oh, beautiful. That's just it about the standard repertoire, is that there is that one step of removal, right? At least one step of removal. Whereas with new works, they are new works. Contemporary music is, you're there, you're creating it in the moment. Can you tell us about what you've programmed for the finals on this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. The majority of our music is Canadian. We've got some wonderful pieces by Jocelyn Morlock, who's originally a Prairie composer. Some really fantastic works by her from Involuntary Love Songs. We have some hilarious songs by Aaron Gervais, who's from Edmonton, that are all set to the text from spam emails. So those are pretty interesting. We have some American arias as well. We're doing something from Nixon in China and Carlisle Floyd Susanna. Some classics by Derek Holman and Jacques Etu, who are some really established Canadian composers. Yeah, Lisa, I must be missing something.
Alice Pingyi-Ho.
Yeah, an amazing Canadian and composer who's based in Hong Kong, and the texts of those poems are all haikus. And there's some really interesting colors that she brings out in the music, so those are pretty amazing as well.
Well, wishing you both well this weekend. Merritt, have a great performance, a virtual performance. Are you doing anything different to prepare for this one?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, yeah, I've never spent so much time in the rental section of Longham-Neupoid before. My car is full of mic cables, a mixing board, microphones. Yeah, so there's a fair amount of tech requirements for this that has been a total learning curve for both of us, I think. And furthermore, because the test piece by Gordon Fitzell involves electronics too. So the logistics of making that all work with the live stream and pumping everything into the mixing board, making sure we can hear the electronics, making sure the audience can hear the electronics. It's been a huge learning experience, and it really makes me feel like I'm on the cutting edge of new music, which is pretty interesting.
Well, that you both are. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us at Classic today.
Thanks, Simon.
Soprano Jayne Hammond and her collaborator, Lisa Rumpel, perform in the E-Gré new competition this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, September 19th and 20th, streaming online at egre.ca. And of course, we've got all the links up at classic107.com.